What is a true fact that sounds like a conspiracy theory? I learned about Project Sunshine in the basement archives of a university library. I was helping a friend with her thesis on Cold War-era medical ethics, and we were thumbing through declassified documents and obscure journal articles, mostly expecting dry material and old government jargon. But then she handed me a manila folder, yellowed and brittle at the edges. "Check this one," she said. The top page read, "Project Sunshine, Confidential, 1950s Human Tissue Sampling Program." At first I thought it was a nickname, maybe something poetic or ironic, like a metaphor. It wasn't. Project Sunshine was real. In the years following the bombings of Hiroshima and Nagasaki, the US government, desperate to understand the long-term effects of radiation, launched a series of studies to monitor how nuclear fallout impacted the human body. But unlike studies on volunteers or military personnel, Sunshine went several steps further. It required human tissue samples, specifically bones and organs. And the best samples, according to their data, came from infants and young children. So they went looking for them, not by asking permission, not by informing grieving parents. They sent researchers and agents to hospitals and morgues across the US, Canada, Europe, and even Australia. When a child died, often from stillbirth, early illness, or accidents, these operatives took body parts, usually bones, sometimes entire limbs, occasionally whole cadavers, all without consent, all in secret. The documents didn't even try to hide it. They used sterile, scientific language, post-mortem extraction, osseous material requisition, international cooperation protocols. But when you stripped it down, it was exactly what it sounded like. The US government was stealing dead children to study how radiation moved through human tissue. One case stuck with me. A baby girl in England died shortly after birth in the 1950s. The mother was told her remains had been cremated. Years later, she discovered her daughter's legs had been removed and shipped to the US for research. No one asked her. No one informed her. She read about it in the papers when the story finally broke. That was how the public found out, slowly, over decades, as documents were declassified and journalists started connecting the dots. It wasn't a big reveal. No government press release, just quiet confirmations, buried in transcripts and FOIA requests, that yes, Project Sunshine happened. Yes, body parts were taken. Yes, thousands of samples from deceased children were used, many of them without permission. My friend ended up making it the core of her thesis. I sat with her for weeks as we tracked down every reference we could. What stunned us wasn't just the horror of the act itself, it was how easily it had been buried. Sunshine was mentioned in passing, if at all, in mainstream history books. Most people had never heard of it. We interviewed one retired pathologist who worked in the UK during the 1960s. He wouldn't go on record, but over coffee he told us, quietly, "You didn't ask where the samples went. They told you it was for national security, and you didn't question it. We thought we were helping keep the peace." Helping, he said, like there was a scale, and the bodies of anonymous children could balance it. I still think about that folder sometimes. The way the word sunshine sat at the top of each page like a cruel joke. The way they turned something as warm and innocent as sunlight into the title for a global corpse harvesting operation. It sounds like a conspiracy theory. It sounds like something you'd read on a forum between posts about aliens and fluoride in the water. But it happened. The US government stole body parts from dead children around the world to study nuclear fallout. Not in the 1800s. Not in some dystopian novel. In the 1950s, with memos, signatures, and shipping labels. And hardly anyone remembers.